What's inside the SpaceX Starship? Space Exploration Technologies Corp, or SpaceX, is an aerospace company founded by Elon Musk, one of the world's richest men, on 6 May 2002. With the headquarters situated in Hawthorne, California, SpaceX today stands to counter NASA as well. Their latest Starship is the living proof of their capabilities and technological advancements. That is exactly what we will look into in today's video. Elon Musk does aim high with an aspiration for civilization to move to Mars, and he wants to do that soon. For tasks as big as these, Elon needs the necessary tools and funds. We think you'll all agree that funds have not been much of a problem, especially since the entrepreneur has a net worth of over $162.5 billion. Regarding the tools aspect of the whole idea, Musk has keenly been indulged in developing a special ship known as the Starship. He has also tested numerous prototypes already. The Starship system, two-stage-to-orbit, super heavy-lift launch vehicle that is completely reusable. Designed by SpaceX, this project is composed of a booster stage named Super Heavy and a second stage also called the Starship. Aesthetically, the Starship is extremely shiny, like really shiny. Well, that's because it's all made from stainless steel. As Elon says, the reason for doing this was because of the cheap rates of stainless steel. Secondly, it was faster during the flight, and we all know Elon is running out of patience. Previously, carbon fiber had been preferred due to its lightweight and strength, but it costs $200 per kilogram. Compare this to $3 per kilogram of stainless steel. It does make a significant impact when purchased in bulk, doesn't it? Another factor of using steel is its exceptionally high melting point, which is obviously an advantage. Carbon fiber can withstand temperatures of 149 degrees Celsius, whereas steel can easily cross 800 degrees Celsius without distortion. And it's not just any steel that Elon uses. He prefers 301 stainless steel, which is no stranger to space expeditions, but if you know Elon by now, he's a man of surprises. Last year, he tweeted, "We should be able to do better in 2020 than they did in, like, the 50s, you know? So I think we'll start switching away from 301 in the next month or two. Some parts will use 304L, as it has higher toughness in cryo temps. 301 steel consists of nickel, chromium, and iron, which makes it extremely resistant to corrosion. The rings alongside the Starship are present every 1.8 meters, which is the maximum possible roll height of steel. If you look at the dimensions, this giant has a 160-foot tall cargo and crew space, but that's not it. Once the Starship is attached, the whole thing measures 230 feet. Width-wise, the Starship measures 30 feet in diameter. Along with the super heavy booster, the Starship is necessary for the whole thing to leave Earth as one. If you thought that was cool, hold up. There's a lot more to it as well, so do hang around to the very end of the video. At this point, it's worth mentioning to please subscribe and smash like. A huge ship like this needs sufficient energy to propel. SpaceX's choice is liquid oxygen and methane, which combust in the engine to synthesize large amounts of energy. We took an insight on the exterior of the Starship, but what's inside there? Why does it keep crashing? In a recent interview with Joe Rogan, Elon shared another interesting fact about the exterior of the Starship. Musk gave reference to a famous film, The Dictator, where a leader of the fictional nation asks the engineers to make a rocket more pointy to strike fear in the hearts of the enemy. According to Musk, that's exactly what he told his team. A baffled Joe thought it had something to do with better aerodynamics, but Musk denied that too. It actually made the flight worse. The reason he did so was that everyone thought it was just fun. Starting from the top, the payload compartment is currently almost empty in the prototypes. The coming years will see change, however, potentially converting the payload into a cargo bay to enable over 100 people to easily fit in for a trip to Mars. According to Musk, if you really wanted to crowd everyone inside, you can have 5 to 6 people per cabin, but he prefers not to hurry. This can also serve as a shelter from dangerous solar storms in case one crosses the path. Since the Starship was built keeping the reusability concept in mind, it has to land somewhere. Unlike the Falcon, which reaches back almost vertically, the larger Starship has to do something a little extra. Essentially, the rocket extends flaps from the side to use the Earth's atmosphere to slow down. So it's basically the drag that decreases the velocity of this giant. This method requires much less fuel than the Falcon, which uses the power from the engines to create an opposite force. In this scenario, Elon showed everyone of his ingenuity and critical thinking when he installed several Tesla batteries in the payload, thus using materials from one company of his inside another. What these batteries do is signal the actuators, which in turn help open the flaps on the side while landing. Towards the bottom, we have two different tanks, which are actually what powers the whole thing. Yes, you guessed right. Liquid oxygen and liquid methane. Instead of the conventional use of hydrogen, SpaceX decided to take a different path as usual. It has a very good reason as well. Firstly, the recent discovery of ice patches on Mars has proven a bonus point. Using the Saboteur process, you can generate methox fuel, which can help maneuver you back home. Both tanks have a capacity of fitting 1,200 tons of fuel. The two chambers are separated by a spherical object known as the Common Dome, which is itself a feat pulled by SpaceX. Normally, you expect to see two of these bulkheads, which take up precious space in between the tanks. Another sphere in the nose cone holds another supply of liquid oxygen, while the Common Dome we just mentioned contains liquid methane. Both of these supplies act as a reserve during the final part of the flight, where the actual supplies get exhausted. This way, the engines get the high-pressure methox needed, which is very crucial for the flight. In fact, one of the crashes mentioned earlier happened due to the lack of importance given to this issue. The header cone has been proved to act as a counterweight against prototypes for a smooth landing. This header tank system also prevents the landing fuel reserves from burn-offs, which are crucial on long missions. Towards the end, we reach the engines, which are the most important part of the ship. The engines used in this case are SpaceX's very own Raptors, only 3 of which are present in the current prototypes. However, the Starship is likely to have 6 in the future, 3 of which are for use at sea level, while the other 3 are for use in space. The former has only a 1.3 meter nozzle compared with the latter's 2.8 meter one. Even right now, the prototype is under testing in the hope that mankind will get one step closer to Mars. Do you agree with the pace that Elon is moving with, or do you think he's moving way too fast and ahead of his time? Let us know in the comments section. Please subscribe for more intriguing content. Don't forget to like and share this video.